Johnson?
Yes, I am.
Okay, we'll call the court to order at this time. This is Stoughton Municipal Court. I'm Judge Matt Rothy, appearing on via Zoom on October 13th, 2021. People can come in and people are appearing by Zoom. First defendant I have is Sherry Johnson. Ms. Johnson, if you want to wait a minute, let me pull up your files. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can, sir.
Okay, Ms. Johnson, do I have your correct address on Silverado Drive in Stoughton?
Yes, that's where I currently lived.
Okay. You were cited for speeding on a city highway, 1 to 10 miles an hour over the limit. This citation carries a penalty of 3 demerit points issued your driver's license, total forfeiture of $98.80. Forfeiture on these speeding citations range from $30 to $300. You're actually at the state mandates we add court costs to your fees. You're actually at the minimum forfeiture right now of $30. $30 plus cost equals $98.80. Okay, do you understand what speeding is?
Yes, I do, sir.
Okay, it's 1 to 10 over, so that's the minimum of 3 points is the minimum moving violation. Do you understand that as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, forfeiture is $98.80. I give you the forfeiture range. Now, normally on a speeding case, I give a 10-mile-an-hour leeway. Instead of 1 to 10, you're already 1 to 10 over, but what I do for speeding citations at 1 to 10 over, I offer to reduce that to defective speedometer. That'll be 2 points instead of 3, same forfeiture of $98.80. Do you understand my the 10-mile-an-hour leeway?
Yes, I do, sir.
Okay. So do you have any questions regarding this citation?
No, I do not, sir.
Okay, now's the time I take your plea. Your 3 plea options are guilty, no contest, or not guilty. Guilty means that you're admitting your guilt. No contest means that you're not admitting guilt, but you want the court to find you guilty and accept the penalties. Or not guilty plea means that you want to enter not guilty plea and contest the citation. I schedule not guilty pleas with the prosecutor at a pretrial conference. If you're unable to resolve the pretrial conferences, it's set for a trial. Do you understand the pleas?
Yes, I do, sir.
Now is the time I take your plea. Your options are guilty, no contest, or not guilty.
Guilty.
Okay. You understand that with a guilty plea, I must find you guilty of defective speedometer?
No, I don't.
Well, in other words, if I accept your guilty plea, I'm going to find you guilty. Do you understand that?
Oh, okay, no contest. Sorry.
Oh, okay, sure. You want to enter a no contest plea then? You realize that I will likely find you guilty?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me read the police report. I want to make sure I have a factual basis for your plea.
Okay.
All right, I have reviewed the plea. I do accept your no contest plea. Accept your no contest plea and find you guilty of defective speedometer. Mary, the statute on that is 347-41. That's 2 demerit points issued your driver's license. It's considered an equipment violation rather than speeding. And anything you like to say before I decide on a fine amount?
No, sir, Judge.
Okay, I'll find that hang on a second. I'll give you a chance to speak in just a second. I'll find that the $98.80 is an appropriate forfeiture. Ms. Johnson, how much time do you need to pay?
I need some time. My mother just died October 1st, and I have to pay for everything.
I'm sorry to hear about that.
Yeah, I was wondering if I could make payments.
Well, how much time would you need to pay? We could accept payments on that for $98.80. Would 3 months be sufficient? 90 days?
Yes. Yes,
okay,
sir.
I'll grant you 90 days. If for whatever reason you can't make the payment within 90 days, there'll be a number for you to call. Call that number, and then we'll schedule you for a hearing on a payment plan. If you give the city prosecutor hasn't objected in the past, and I don't object to people extending the time a little bit. The only recourse I have is to intercept your taxes or suspend your driver's license, and I'd rather not do that.
Yeah, I'd rather not either.
Okay, good. All right, anything else that you'd like to tell me?
No, thank you.
Okay, that will conclude it for today. We'll grant you 90 days to pay, and we'll send all the paperwork to you in the mail.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Johnson. You can go ahead and hang up.
Okay.
All right, according to Mary, you're muted.
Next person is Albert Glosser.
Right, you've done such a fine job labeling, and I can actually see the numbers on the screen. So I'll just kind of go by the numbers of what you have.
Okay.
So hang on a second. Something just popped up. Oh, never mind. Sometimes I get these random windows just popping up. Just a minute, everybody. I don't know why they do that. Okay. What happens, Mary, is sometimes I click too close to the screen and a window will pop up. Oh, helpful windows. Okay, next is Albert Glosser. Mr. Glosser, you're muted right now. If you want to unmute yourself, thank you. Then that will be clear. Mr. Glosser, let me pull up your report. What I do is I pull up the report just so I can see your address. Want to make sure that I have your correct address. Mr. Glosser, can you hear me okay?
I can.
Okay. Do I have your correct address on Bainbridge Street in Monona?
It's in Madison.
Oh, okay. According to the, what's, so it's 4215 Bainbridge Street, and that's in Madison. What would be the zip code?
53716.
Comes up as Monona. So, okay, we'll make a note of it then. Mr. Glosser, you've been cited for speeding on a city highway 16 to 19 miles an hour over the limit. This carries a forfeiture of 4 points and a $124 fine. Do you understand what speeding on a city highway is?
I do.
Okay, you understand that you were, the city has cited you for going 16 to 19 miles an hour over the limit. You understand that as well?
I do.
Okay, now the forfeiture, the 4 demerit points issued your driver's license. If you accumulate 12 or more in a 1-year period, your license will be suspended. You understand that as well?
I do.
Okay, forfeiture is $124. That's $50 plus costs. The forfeiture range on these citations is $30 to $300. In other words, I can go lower or I can go higher if I see that if there's extenuating circumstances, either mitigating factors or factors that make it worse. Do you understand that as well?
I do.
Okay. Now, I give a 10 mile an hour leeway on speeding citations. So instead of 16 to 19 over, I would consider this 9 over the speed limit, which would result in 3 demerit points rather than 4. Forfeiture stays the same at $124. Do you understand that?
I do.
Okay. All right. Do you have any questions regarding this citation?
I do not.
Okay. Tonight is plea night. There's 3 plea options: are guilty, no contest, or not guilty. Guilty means that you're admitting guilt. No contest means that you're not admitting guilt, but you want to end tonight and resolve it tonight and have me find you guilty. And the third choice is not guilty, where you want to contest the citation. With a not guilty plea, I schedule the matter for a pretrial conference with the city attorney. And then if you're unable to resolve it, then I schedule it for a trial. You understand your 3 plea options?
I do.
Okay. What is your plea?
I plead guilty.
Okay. You understand with a guilty plea, I must find you guilty?
I do.
All right. Let me read the police report. I want to make sure I have a factual basis for your plea. Okay, Mr. Glosser, I have reviewed the police report. I do find a factual basis for your plea. I'll accept your guilty plea and find you guilty of speeding 1 to 9 miles over the limit. That's 3 points instead of 4. Anything you'd like to say before I decide on a fine amount?
I was going what I had deemed to be the speed of traffic, and in doing so, I was neglecting to look at my speedometer and did not realize I was speeding until the officer pulled up behind me. I have learned my lesson from this, I believe, and I thank you for bringing it down to 1 to 9 miles.
Okay, what I will do then is I'll find the $124 to be appropriate. How much time do you need to pay that?
I can pay it immediately.
Okay, I'll give you 30 days. That'll give it time to either come down to the police station or mail your payment. That should allow enough time. The payment instructions are in the citation as well. So, okay, you understand that?
I do.
Okay, give you 30 days. Anything else that you like to tell the court?
Nothing comes to mind.
Okay, that will conclude the matter then. 1 to 9 over 3 points, 30 days to pay the 124. If you have any questions, there's a form on the court form as well that you can call in with any questions.
I understand.
All right, thank you. They'll take care of it for this evening.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, next would be Hannah Jorgensen. Just give me a minute. Good evening, Ms. Jorgensen. Let me just give you a minute, or give me a minute to. Hang on a second. I'm okay with computers, but I'm not the speediest, so thank you for your patience. Ms.
No problem.
Jorgensen, do I have your correct address on 8th Street
Correct.
in Stoughton? Okay.
Yep.
You were cited for non-registration of an auto. That citation carries a penalty of $98.80 and 0 demerit points issued to your driver's license. Have you registered the vehicle?
Yes, I got it done the day after I got pulled over. It was a big mix up on my end, but it's been officially registered.
Okay, did you submit that to the court?
No, because I wanted to. So I came to the jail the day after, and the gal told me that I would show you guys this on court. And then I got the letter in the mail saying we're closed. If you want to appear, here's the Zoom information.
Okay.
So I did go to the jail, but she said I needed to show you. Obviously,
When you say the jail, you mean the Stoughton Police Department?
correct. I'm sorry.
There's no jail cells there, so.
Okay, well, the Stone Police Department then, yes. So I showed up and she said, I need to show you guys on the actual court date.
Can you hold that up? Can you hold that up to the screen? Okay, got it. Certificate of title. Can you read off that information to me?
Yeah, so it's got the VIN number, the year, make of my car.
And the date of the notice?
Oh, of this?
Yeah.
Does it say?
It would have said payment dates. How long are you valid through?
Oh, it says expiration date on here, 8/27 of 22.
Okay, so you, looks like you received the citation on September 12th. When did you go register your vehicle?
Literally the next day, December
Okay.
13th.
Okay, you're not gonna lie in open court. So, all right, the court will find that you successfully registered your vehicle. You did it on a timely manner. On the court's own motion, the court is gonna dismiss this case.
Thank you, sir.
The case dismissed. Any questions?
Nope, I
All
appreciate
right,
it.
that will take care of it this evening. And thank you, Ms.
Okay.
Jorgensen.
See ya.
Okay, next would be Carly Cherrick. Did I say that correctly? Oh, Ms. Cherrick, you can unmute yourself by pressing *6.
Hello?
Yes,
Oh, yeah,
is this Carly Cherrick?
Yep.
Did I say that correctly?
Yep. Perfect.
Okay, thank you for unmuting yourself. What I have, I'm on a video screen, and I've got a few callers, but what I'm gonna do is I have, I'm appearing via Zoom, and I'm gonna pull up your report on my computer then. What I do is I just check for your address. Oh, I see that you
Okay.
did. All right. Okay, I've got it up. Ms. Cherrick, do I have your correct address on Effingham in Sun Prairie?
Yes.
All right. You received a citation for speeding on a city highway 11 to 15 over the limit. Do you understand what speeding on a city highway is?
Yeah.
Okay. Now there's 3 levels of speeding. The first is 1 to 10. The second is 11 to 19. And the third is 20 and plus, 20 and over. So the 1 to 10 is a 3-point citation. The 11 to 15 is a 4-point citation, and 20 plus is 6. Do you understand that?
Yep.
Okay. Now you're in the intermediate or 4-point. And the forfeiture range on this is $30 to $300. You're actually at the minimum cost of 30 plus cost to $98.80 is the minimum forfeiture for a speeding citation. Do you understand that?
Yep.
Okay, and what I do is I give a 10-mile-an-hour leeway on these speeding citations for a variety of reasons. So what I do on these is 11 to 15 over. I would reduce that to 1 to 10 over, which should be 3 points instead of 4. You understand that
Okay.
as well?
Yep.
Okay. Any questions regarding this speeding citation?
No, I mean,
All right.
I honestly.
Hang on. Don't tell
Oh,
me anything.
okay.
I have to take a plea first before you can tell me anything. The reason why is that if you say something that could influence, or I could receive too much information because the prosecutor's not here, then I would have to recuse myself and put it to send it to another judge. And that's
Okay.
really, it's too cumbersome for all involved. So let me
Yeah,
tell
yeah,
you
no
about your pleas first. You have 3 plea options. 1 is guilty, and that means you're admitting your guilt. 2 is no contest, means you're not admitting your guilt, but you want me to find guilty and end it and resolve it tonight. Or 3rd, not enter a plea of not guilty. That way you go before I set it for a pretrial conference with the prosecutor. You see if you can resolve your case. If you cannot, it ends up scheduling in my court for a trial. You understand your 3 plea options of guilty, no contest, or not guilty?
Yep.
All right. Are you ready to enter a plea?
Yep, I'll just guilty.
Okay. You understand with a guilty plea, I must find you guilty?
Yep.
All right. Let me review the rest of your police report. I want to make sure I have a factual basis for your plea.
Okay.
Okay, I have the police report. I do find a factual basis for your plea. I'll accept your guilty plea and find you guilty of 1 to 10 over for a 3-point violation instead of 4.
Okay.
Now, Miss Cherrick, anything you like to say before I decide on a sentence? Or fine amount, I should say.
I mean, I did think that I was in the 35-mile range because the sign was like right in front of me, right where
Okay.
he pulled me over, and I thought that was just like another sign. I didn't realize because it was on the highway, so
Right.
I didn't realize. And I'm not super familiar with Stoughton.
Okay.
Yeah, so it kind of was unfortunate. I thought I was only going 5 over, not.
Okay. And see, that's one of the reasons why I give a 10-mile leeway for reasons like that. So I do think the 1 to 10 over is appropriate. You're already at I'm going to fine you the minimum amount of $98.80. How much time do you need to pay that?
Just the 30 days is fine.
Okay, good. I'll grant you 30 days. We'll send out notice to you at your address. You can go make sure that you pay it, because if you don't, I have to intercept your taxes or suspend your driver's license. I'd rather not do that. So for whatever reason, if you forget or need more time, just let us know.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right. Any further questions for me?
Nope.
All right. That will take care of it for this evening. Thank you for appearing, Ms. Cherrick, and then you can go ahead and hang up.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Next will be Andy Lewis.
Hello.
Hi. Okay. All right, Miss Lewis. Let me pull up your police report. I want to make sure that I have your correct address. Okay, my computer's decided at this time to install an update. All right. Mary, I don't have this police report in part of my stack.
My full name is Joanna Lewis, if that helps.
I'm sorry, say it again.
My full name is Joanna,
Okay.
if that helps.
I clicked on Adobe Acrobat and it said it needed to update it.
Oh, no.
So just give me a minute. Let's see if it. Yeah. Okay, Mary, it, for whatever reason, Adobe Acrobat's decided to update it now, so I'm gonna have to probably wait a few minutes until the police reports load. Yeah, I wish I could put a block on it and say it never needs to be updated, but I'm sorry, everybody, I just need a technical
You were
updates
able
and
to
review.
open the other ones, though. That's what's weird. I wonder, you
I
know,
can't open any of them, actually, I tried.
but you were able, you had gotten the addresses for all the other people. so-
Correct. It just, for whatever reason, I think it needs to, the computer's doing an update of the Adobe Acrobat right now.
He's saying, John is thinking, no, that there's something else that maybe you should try closing it and going back in, because if you were able to open the other ones, it shouldn't
Okay.
start now.
Okay, hang on a second. I might have opened it twice. We'll see if that worked. Okay,
Yeah.
hang on a second.
Go ahead.
Okay, it worked. Thank you, John. All right. Okay, so Miss Lewis, give me a minute. So it's Johanna. Oh, it's Johanna. Miss Lewis, do I have your correct address on Lumley Road in Madison?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, you've also been cited for non-registration of auto. The citation carries a penalty of $98.80 and 0 demerit points issued to your driver's license. Now, have you updated your motor vehicle record? Have you updated your registration?
Yes, I have.
All right. Did you send that to the court?
Similar to the lady beforehand, was not able to. I do, I have a PDF version I can send, or also I have it right here.
Okay. Do you, I see that you updated it. When did you update this registration?
The following week after payday.
Okay. So you paid for some fines and then got your vehicle re-registered. Let's see. So if you got it on the 12th, you would have updated within a week. All right. And what does the notice say? Just confirming that. How long are you valid for?
Valid until December 13th of this year.
Okay. I'll find that you timely updated your registration. And then on the court's own motion, I'll go ahead and dismiss the citation.
Thank you so much.
Okay. That will take care of it. And you can go ahead and hang up.
Thank you again.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Next is Marvin Pitney. Mr. Pitney? You're muted, so I cannot hear you. You press *6 to unmute yourself, please.
There we go.
Okay, Mr. Pitney, I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're appearing via Zoom. I can't see you, but I can hear you. It's a blank screen. So what I'm going to do, Mr. Pitney, is I'm going to pull up your police report, the citation. All I do is I kind of see your address. I want to just make sure that I have your correct address. Mr. Address, do I have your correct address on Woodlawn Road in New Lenox, Illinois?
Yes.
All right. You received a speeding citation.
Uh-oh. Where'd you go?
Now, Mr. Pitney, do you understand what speeding is in a 55-mile-per-hour zone is?
Yes.
Okay. You understand that you were going 35 to 39 over the limit?
Yes.
All right. And your points, okay, so this is the speeding, anything more than 20 is 6 demerit points issued your driver's license. Also a forfeiture of $289.50. Now the forfeiture range on this is $30 plus $30 to $300. At $281.50, that is a $175 forfeiture plus cost. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, since it was a 55-mile-an-hour zone, anytime you're going 25 miles over the limit, there's an automatic suspension in Wisconsin for a period of 15 days. Now, do you have an Illinois driver's license?
Yes.
Okay, what would happen would be that if you're found guilty of 35 to 39 over, that it exceeds a 25-mile-an-hour zone, and you would be facing a suspension. In Wisconsin and Illinois, I believe I have a they have reciprocity. So if you get suspended in Wisconsin, you'd also be suspended in Illinois. You understand that as well?
Yes.
Okay, so what, in addition, I usually give a 10-mile-an-hour leeway for these citations. However, if I give a 10-mile-an-hour leeway from 35 to 25, you would still be 6 points and you would still be 25 or more over. You understand that as well?
Yeah.
So in other words, even with my normal 10-mile-an-hour leeway, you would still be facing a suspension.
Okay.
So, and I'm concerned about the actual speed in this case. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, unless you have any strenuous objections, I'm going to enter a not guilty plea on your behalf and schedule this matter for a pretrial conference with the city attorney. Pretrial conference, what you and the city could discuss possible resolutions of this case. It's, what's
The
that?
Town attorney. It's
Oh,
the
town attorney,
Town of
thank you.
Dunkirk.
Yep, town of Dunkirk. So I would probably have you appear in front of do a Zoom conference with the town of Dunkirk attorney to discuss the citation. You understand?
Not really.
Okay. I'm concerned with how fast that you were going.
There was a reason for that, but I can't tell you unless we do a plea. first,
Exactly.
correct?
That's kind of why I wanted you to do a not guilty plea and meet with the prosecutor, and then maybe the prosecutor could amend this to lower than what I normally do.
Okay.
So the way we do that is have a not guilty plea. Have you meet with the prosecutor and give your reason to the prosecutor, or just see if you can reduce it to under 25 miles an hour or under the, over the limit. Sometimes, I'll let you and the prosecutor see if you're come to some type of agreement. If you're unable to reach an agreement, then what would happen would be that I would have a trial over this matter. You understand that?
Okay.
Okay, so what I'll do, so I'll enter not guilty plea. We'll send out a notice for a pretrial conference. Usually you can appear at the pretrial conference usually over the phone. You can meet with the prosecutor over the phone and see if you can resolve the citation. And I'll order that you attend the pretrial conference, or at least contact the prosecutor, because if you prosecutor can't get a hold of you, what likely happen would be that prosecutor tell me you didn't appear, you didn't contact them, and I'll find you default and I'll find you guilty of the 37 over. And then your license will be suspended for a period of 15 days. So I want to make sure that you contact the prosecutor prior or on the pretrial date or prior to. Do you understand that?
Yeah. Do you have his number?
We'll mail that to her. Well, we'll mail that to you. We'll mail you the prosecutor's number.
Okay.
Okay, we're going in and not guilty plea. We'll schedule this matter for pretrial conference with the prosecutor, and we'll send you that notice.
All right.
All right, with no further questions, go look for that notice, pay attention to the mail, and then just make sure that you follow through with the pretrial conference.
Sure will.
Okay, that'll take care of it for this evening then. Mr. Pitney, you can go ahead and hang up.
Thank you.
Next would be Marcia Terrence. Ms. Tarrant, you're currently muted. Okay, now you're unmuted. Can you hear me okay?
I sure can, thank you.
Okay, Ms. Tarrant, I have I see a blank screen, but I can hear you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up your police report on my computer. I'm appearing by Zoom as well. I just do that so I can get your address.
Okay,
All right. Do I have your correct address on Brooklyn Drive in Stoughton?
yes, sir.
All right. You've been cited for speeding on a city highway 11 to 15 over the limit. This carries a penalty of 4 demerit points and a forfeiture of $98.80. Do you understand what speeding on a city highway is?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Do you understand? There's 3 limits in there are 3 levels of speeding in Wisconsin. There's 1 to 10, which is 3 points, 11 to 19, which is 4, and then 20 and over, which is 6. Do you understand the 3 speeding levels?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're at the intermediate level. So in addition, your forfeiture is $98.80, which is $30 plus cost. You're actually at the minimum of the speeding citation. The range is between $30 and $300. You understand that as well?
Yes, sir.
All right, you're at the intermediate level, which is 4 points. I give a 10-mile-an-hour leeway. So if 10-mile leeway would take you to 1 to 10 over, which would be 3 points instead of 4, is what I'm willing to amend this to. And then the prosecutor and I have worked out an agreement where they would usually make the same offer at a pretrial conference. You'd also be facing a forfeiture of $98.80. You understand all that?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions for the court?
I do not.
Okay, now's the time I take.
can't-
I'm sorry?
I think isn't the minimum then of points is that I can get is reduced to is 3. Is that correct?
That's correct, today, at least. It is today.
Okay.
So
I guess
you're-
3 is better than 4. Thank you.
that's always the way I look at it too. So your 3 plea options are guilty, no contest, or not guilty. Would you like me to explain each of the pleas?
No, you don't need to. I've heard them. I
Okay.
can do no contest.
Okay, with it, you understand the no contest plea, I'll likely find you guilty?
Yes, sir.
All right, let me read the police report. I want to make sure I have a factual basis for your plea. And I'm glad that you said that because a lot of times I'm supposed to create a record, but I realize you've been in court for a while and heard prior defendants. So I have reviewed the police report. I do find a factual basis for your plea. I'll accept your no contest plea and find you guilty. And I'll find you guilty of speeding 1 to 10 over, which is 3 points instead of 4. You're already at the minimum forfeiture. Unless I hear differently, I'm going to find the $90.80 forfeiture to be appropriate. And how much time do you need to pay that?
I can pay it right away.
Okay, I'll give you 30 days. That allows you enough time to either mail it or come down to the police department and pay the fees or pay the forfeiture.
Okay.
Anything else that you'd like to tell me?
I was preoccupied with my dog. I had just picked up from surgery, but the law is the law. I was speeding, so I
And-
appreciate the 3 points instead of 4. Thank you.
Right, and I always like to give it, that's why I like to give it 10-mile leeway. So I understand the circumstances happen, so.
Well, thank you.
All right, thank you for appearing. You can go ahead and hang up.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thanks, you too. All right, next is Kim Graffanoa. Ms. Graffanoa, can you
I'm
hear me
here.
okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I can hear you as well. Let me pull up your police report so I can get your address. All right, Ms. Graffanoa, am I saying this correct? Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yes, Graffanour.
Okay, Ms. Graffanoa, do I have your correct address on Genuine Road?
Yes, in Fitchburg.
Okay, how do you pronounce that?
I pronounce it genuine.
A genuine? Okay, all right. You've been cited for speeding on a city highway. That's 11 to 15 over the limit. You understand what speeding on a city highway is?
Yes, sir.
All right, and you're at the range of 11 to 15 over, which is 4 points, and you're facing a forfeiture of $98.80. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
forfeiture range on this is $30 to $300. You're actually at the minimum forfeiture right now of $30 plus cost equals $98.80. Understand that as well?
Yes.
Okay. And with these cases, as you probably heard, I give a 10-mile-an-hour leeway. So instead of 11 to 15 over, I would reduce this to 1 to 10 over, which would be 3 points instead of 4. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, any questions that you may have for the court?
No.
All right, now's the time I take your plea. Your 3 plea options are guilty, no contest, or not guilty.
I will plead no contest.
You understand with a no contest plea, I'll likely find you guilty?
Yes, sir.
Let me read the police report. I want to make sure I have a factual basis for your plea. I have reviewed the police report. I do find a factual basis for your plea, accept your no contest plea and find you guilty. So you're at the minimum forfeiture of $98.80. I'll impose that as a forfeiture amount. Ms. Graffanoa, how much time do you need to pay for the forfeiture?
30 days is fine.
Okay, I'll give you 30 days. That way you can mail in payments as pursuant to the instructions on the citation. Anything else that you'd like to tell me?
I didn't realize I was speeding. I thought I was in a 35 mile per hour zone.
That's why I give a 10 mile an hour leeway. I understand. So, okay, with nothing else, that will take care of it for this evening. You can go ahead and hang up.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
All right, thank you. Is that it, Mary?
There was supposed to be the OWI case appearing, and I had him on the phone, and they were going to call in, but so far nothing. So I don't know if you want to try, if we should just reschedule this, or if you want
Well,
to.
we reschedule it.
Okay.
And then while you're rescheduling that, I need a break. I'm going to go get a glass of water, so I will be right back.
Okay.
I'll leave the screen on so everybody can see the
Okay.
map.
Okay.
Thanks for waiting. My throat got dry. All right, are we ready?
Mhm.
All right. And I did, so I'm getting better. I printed out the Zoom notice. And I did print out your updated court listing. You probably sent it in the afternoon, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, no, that was weird with the Adobe Acrobat. I think I might have opened up 2 windows at the same time.
Twice, yeah.
So I
Okay.
think John's suggestion just to close one worked and then.
Right.
yeah, it was
Okay.
fine, so. All right, Brian Arstead, bond forfeiture. Cheryl Ackerman is a bond forfeiture. Saeed Ali is a bond forfeiture. Logan Anderson is a bond forfeiture. David Bachol is a bond forfeiture. Sengarun Bakim is a default judgment on both citations. Andrea Bagley, on the request of the city or the motion of the city, the citation is dismissed. Okay, Rick Balthazar is a bond forfeiture. Peyton Becker is a bond forfeiture. Kelly Bennett is a default judgment. Ryan Burgett is a bond forfeiture. Alexis Blevins is a bond forfeiture. Dakota Booker is a default judgment on both citations. James Borling is a bond forfeiture. Laurentino Bravo is a default judgment. Trevor Bryce is a bond forfeiture. John Brueggelman is a bond forfeiture. Sharon Buell is a default judgment. Emily Bundy is a bond forfeiture. Christopher Berner is a default judgment. David Capito, plea sheet. All right. So for the people watching, actually, I was Googling Stoughton tornadoes and Stoughton Municipal Court came up on YouTube, so which surprised me. So I will explain it to the video audience. What happens is that people can submit a written plea. It's called a plea sheet, given reasons why. Sometimes they enter a plea of not guilty that way, but sometimes they just want me to consider some extenuating circumstances. And since we do this by Zoom, I thought that it's appropriate for me to consider a plea sheet. All right. Okay. Okay. Says pleaded guilty distracted by a police stop where like 8 cops all pulled over one guy, disturbed by it, and totally my fault. So. All right, let me take a look at the police report. I think it's failure to stop. Failure to obey a traffic sign or signal. This is a 3-point citation. It's $98.80, which is $30 plus costs. I believe, Mary, that is the minimum forfeiture, but I'll verify that. Actually, Mary, the total, since he was submitted a plea sheet and was honest about it, the minimum forfeiture is $20. So I'm going to reduce the forfeiture from $98.80 to $86.20 with 30. We give him 60 days to pay normally, or is it 30?
Yes, 860.
Okay, we'll give him 60 days to pay that.
I just need to look that up to see if it's a class, because it's a failure.
Yeah.
I have that in your file, the listing. Do you have access to that? Probably quicker than I do.
Oh, you mean not the printed file, but
In your file, just the main directory, it says the failure to yield statute numbers.
hang on a second. It's in my directory.
Oh, here we go. I've got mine.
You got there first.
Yeah, what was his ticket? Let me pull him up again.
34604.
04. Oh, it's not. So
I didn't think it was,
Yeah.
because it's just a failure to obey a sign.
Okay, good.
That would have been my guess. Okay. All right, let's see. So we were on. Okay, Bailey Carter is a default judgment. Antonio Castro is a default judgment on both citations. Ralph,
Actually, he this afternoon sent in a not guilty.
okay,
plea.
we'll enter not, vacate the default judgment, we'll enter not guilty plea on his behalf and scheduled for a pretrial conference.
Okay,
Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Ralph Colburn is a bond forfeiture. Juan Colon Hernandez is a default.
Now that is the
oh.
OWI that I have.
Let me take a look at this. Oh yeah, we'll let's reschedule it for the next.
Okay.
Would be the next adult court date. Why don't we do it then?
November 17th.
Yep, we'll reschedule for that date. Send out the notice to him if you could.
Yep.
All right. Alston Combs is a default judgment. Sadie Connolly is a bond forfeiture. Pamela Cox is a default judgment. Donnie Dorenzo is a default judgment on all 3 citations. Donald Duckshack is a default judgment.
Gregory Eel, he paid this afternoon.
We'll forfeit the bond.
Okay.
Bruno Espasandin. Lima, Bruno Espas, I'll get it. Bruno Espasandin is a default judgment on both citations. Rebecca Fafard is a bond forfeiture. Thomas Farber is a default judgment. Jessica Gaither is a default judgment. Chad Gallagher is a default judgment. Next 2 we've got covered. James Hammis is a default judgment. Add to the list. Ryan Hanna is a bond forfeiture. Donisha Harden is a default judgment. Zachary Hartert is a bond forfeiture. Michael Heinrichs is a bond forfeiture. Carlos Robert.
No, he isn't. Heinrichs.
Oh,
No
Plea sheet.
contest. Yeah.
Plea sheet. Thank you. Let me take a look at the plea sheet.
Did you start?
Is that John?
Sorry, I know we're being televised and he's trying to communicate. That's why I try to mute my.
Oh yeah, I just find it, sorry.
No, that's right.
Find it. Okay, no contest plea, change the plea. Okay, reduction of points. Let me see where he was at. 16 and 19 over, I'll reduce it to 1 to 10 over, 3 points instead of 4, same forfeiture of $124 with 60 days to pay. Okay, now I can do it. Carlos Roberto Hernandez Ponce, default judgment. Rocio Herrera Ramirez is a bond forfeiture on both citations. Daniel Hoffman is a default judgment. David Holt is a default judgment. Gary Hookstead is a bond forfeiture. Jeremy Miles Hoskins is a default judgment. George Howell is a plea sheet. Got it that time. Well, I got a couple of them.
Yeah.
Okay, lowering the points for Mr. Howell. All right, let me sort through everything again. So I have you in a tiny little Zoom box, and unfortunately it gets in the way of the cursor a lot.
Oh.
Okay, Mr. Howell asked for a reduction in points. I'll grant that. 11 to 15 over, I'll reduce that to 1 to 10 over, 3 points instead of 4, same forfeiture, 90 to 80 with 60 days to pay. Okay, Sherry Johnson appeared earlier. Darlene Justin, bond forfeiture. Hannah Jorgensen, did she appear?
Yes.
Okay, I missed that one. All right.
Dismissed.
All right, Patrick David Josephson, plea sheet. Says inattentive of driving, but gives a lot of reasons for mitigation. I'm going to enter a not guilty plea and have him meet with the prosecutor. I'll note that if he doesn't appear, we'll enter a no contest plea. Okay. Okay, next is Fauna Justman is a default judgment. Hunter Carlin is a bond forfeiture. Standy King is a bond forfeiture. Jennifer Knutson is a bond forfeiture.
No.
Nora Kozlowski. Oh, plea sheet. I missed
Sorry.
it. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
No, you keeping me on my toes. All right. Okay. He asked for traffic probation.
I know.
So this isn't a simple point reduction, so I'm gonna change this to a not guilty plea. And remind me of this, because sometimes they might not appear if I order a pretrial or a conference on that. And then I would willing to give a 10-mile leeway, but I can't. They asked for a total dismissal with a probation on it. So because of that, I'll enter a not guilty plea.
Okay.
All right, now Nora Kozlowski is a default judgment. Paul Kramer is a default judgment. Hang on a second. You're not calling me, are you?
No.
Not important. Kateri Kraus is a default judgment. Brian Lamberty is a default judgment on both citations. Simon Lank is a default judgment. Ralph Lathrop is a bond forfeiture.
Carl Lauterbach paid this afternoon.
Will forfeit the bond. Cody Leader is a default judgment. Ryan Likeness is a default judgment. Sarah Liggett is a plea sheet. There's a typo in here. Model was spelled wrong.
On her plea sheet?
Yeah, and the additional information. No,
Oh,
your plea sheet is fine.
okay. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Okay. Basically just saying a good driving record. So I'm going to treat this as if it's a no contest plea. $11 and $15 over, we'll reduce that to 1 to 10 over, 3 points instead of 4. Same fine with 60 days to pay.
Okay.
All right, Kaylee Lexinger, it's a default judgment. Renate Lundy is a bond forfeiture. Registration paid on Julie Liebeck.
I verified that she did reinstate.
Okay, I'll go ahead and dismiss that citation on the court's motion. Okay, Craig Malmstrom is a plea sheet. To honorable judge, we just arrived from after a long 6-hour drive in the pack.
It's hard to read.
Iron Man, Wisconsin.
It's from Michigan.
Yeah. Okay. Confused. I'll give a 10-mile-an-hour leeway to this. Basically, as a plea for asking for leniency. I treat that as the same as if they would appear and for the same reason. So let's see. Oh, 1 to 10 over, I'll reduce that to defective speedometer to 2 points instead of 3. 347.41. Same forfeiture of probably 98.80, 30 or 60 days to pay. All right. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Jack McCarron is a default judgment. Liam McGuire is a bond forfeiture. Jolene Sue McKinnon is a bond forfeiture. John Mell is a default judgment. Abel Mendez is a default judgment. Sean Metcalf is a bond forfeiture. James Milota is a bond forfeiture. Daniel Mitchell is a default judgment. Riley Monte is a bond forfeiture. Corey Moore is a default judgment. On both citations, Joseph Negum is a default judgment. Todd Nelson is a default judgment on both citations. Ronald Neville is a bond forfeiture. Jeffrey Otteson is a bond forfeiture. George Peoples is a default judgment on both. Maxwell Pila accept the guilty plea. Underage drinking. I used to require assessments, but I will not suspend the driver's license just because it might be. I know for the court, Mayor, I've actually had clients try and sign up for assessment, and I know they're backed up right now. So
Yeah,
no driver's license suspension on that.
okay.
Tricia, and that's just temporary while the assessment's backed up. I assume that I'll require proof of completion of the assessment once things return to normal, so to speak. So, or they're not so long the lines. Tricia Place is a default judgment. Bethany Ploymers is a bond forfeiture. Sophia Pongrants is a bond forfeiture. Erica Quincy is a default judgment. Susan Ramsbacher is a default judgment. Susan Ramsbacher is a bond forfeiture. Aaron Riley is a default judgment. Susan Sanner is a bond forfeiture. Robert Scholar is a bond forfeiture. Colton Shara is a default judgment. Garrett Schmidt is a bond forfeiture. Adam Chopin is a bond forfeiture. Grace Schultz is a default judgment on all 4 citations. Tyler Segerson is a bond forfeiture. Preet Mohinder Singh Sekon is a default or bond forfeiture, Elizabeth K. Shields Hollibush is a bond forfeiture on both citations. Jason Simon, you just received a no contest plea?
Right, he didn't say anything, but we've been reducing them when
I
they
will on this case too. Let me see what he was cited for.
speeding.
How much?
Oh, I'm sorry. I should start.
1 to
that
10,
way.
I'll reduce that to a defective speedometer.
Okay,
You make sure I review his plea sheet. Probably didn't realize this. Yeah. Okay. So 1. Next, Matthew Simon. Again, anything with, let me take a look at the plea sheet. Was it silent?
just nothing. Yeah, just
Okay.
no
I'll treat it a no contest plea then. If you can provide proof, then I would suggest he reopen and talk to the city prosecutor, but without that proof, I can't do anything other than accept the no contest plea and default the judgment. Curtis Smith is a bond forfeiture. Jacob Sparks is a default judgment. Marcia Tarrant already appeared. Peter Tenjum is a bond forfeiture. Nicholas Thomas is a default judgment. Crystal Thorson is a bond forfeiture. Lauren
Topper paid this afternoon
we'll forfeit the bond.
for all 3.
Okay, great. Renzo Vaccaro is a default judgment. Alexander Velasquez Torres is a default judgment on both citations. Michelle Voltaggio is a default judgment. Blake Wake is a default judgment on both citations. April Watson is a default judgment. Brandon Webb is a default judgment. David Wiatrowski is a default judgment. Madeline Weiger is a bond forfeiture. Bradley Willie received a plea agreement.
No,
And,
there was nothing.
all
No
right.
information.
There was 2 plea sheets.
2 pages. He sent it separately.
Say nothing.
Nothing on the second page. But
I'll
it's
give 10-mile-an-hour leeway, so reduce it to 1 to 10 over.
okay.
Tyler Williams is a default judgment. Kiana Williamson, plea sheet. Okay, enter not guilty plea, because they're kind of confused, so I don't know the nature of the confusion. Set up for a pretrial conference with city attorney.
Okay.
Raylene Yeager is a no contest, accept a no contest plea. Next, Jason Yellowbird. Did I see a plea sheet somewhere?
No, he just paid.
Okay, I thought I saw one on the list.
Yeager, she sent a police sheet with a no contest, but there's no
Got
explanation.
it. Okay, that's where I saw it. I was trying to anticipate going back to my computer list for that, so.
Oh.
Okay, Jason Yellowbird is a bond forfeiture. A Baruch Zakur is a bond forfeiture. Erica Zimmerman is a default judgments. And Joel Zolaz is a bond forfeiture. And that concludes the list.
I have a question for you. I'll send you this information tomorrow, but we have 2 truancy defendants who signed an agreement to attend school, and I checked on their attendance, and one has not returned to school. He's doing homeschooling, so I'm not sure how you handle something like that. Because there's the school, he's no longer considered a student, so they don't even have any record on.
If that's the case,
attendance.
I'll consider, I just want to get kids to go back to school.
Oh,
Technically, if he's being
okay.
homeschooled, I will find that I shouldn't say he, the pupil, find that the pupil complied with the sentencing agreement.
Okay, all right. I'll get that paperwork ready and send that to you tomorrow. That's it.
Okay, great. How's everything else?
Good. Everything's good.
Good. Glad somebody's having a good day.
1 out of 5.
No, it's still, people are just still uptight, scared, everything
Yeah.
else, so.
Yeah, very much so.
Reasons.
Yes, indeed.
Okay,
All
that's all I
right,
have.
thank you.
All right, thanks, Mary. I'll see you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.